All right, so we avoided this topic. Not say avoided, but we talk sports, talk this versus. We gotta talk, issues in our community, right? Right, because in January we want to start a series where we bring on specialists that know more about these issues than we do, right? Because we want to help. We want to talk about issues, talk about ways we could fix issues, and hopefully y'all hear something that one of our guests says, one that we say, and y'all take it, and we just know one person at a time to try to help our community, get us in a better place. Because Brad say all the time is probably and preach to us too. It's not gonna come from the president. It's gonna come from local level. It's gonna come from us, community, out. So we're gonna talk about some issues. We all gonna bring one to the table, and we're gonna talk about it for a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. So Mills, you start us off, bro. What you want to bring to the light?
What I'm bringing is single family households, especially in the area that I grew up in, Charlotte Cold Spring. You already know. Uh, there is a lot of single family households. Uh, Sometimes by choice, sometimes it just happens. You got a lot of people that they start out young having children, and they have children people they don't feel like they're gonna spend the rest of their life with, so they end up having that single family household. Uh, I'm gonna live in the east side of Buffalo, so you got situations where the person you had a child with may be incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? So there are different reasons why you can have a single family household, but it is something that is a major impact in the Black community.
Why?
So why? Uh, in the Black community, maybe I don't know. I think more so it's choices, right? A lot of people in the Black community make sometimes the wrong choice.
Well,
I think
I'm
it's
not.
that
I'm not
simple.
asking you why single family households, exist. I'm saying why. Why? What's the issue with them?
I mean, I don't really think it's that bad of an issue with it, but I think that when you have a household where you have both parents, uh, that there is a chance that your child may grow up in a different way compared to a single family household. For instance, you have a mother and a father, have a child, and the child goes stay with their mother Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they with their dad Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and they may go on a date together as a group on one of the other days. But I think you don't get that right mix, that right gel, with your child that you should have or what you could have when everybody was together. Uh, Us four, we had the luxury of having a two family household compared to somebody else that may have they just stand with their mother, or they stand with their father, and they don't get that support that we may have got. They don't get those life skills that we may have got together, and it's kind of like you're going in different avenues because your father, your mother may have different teaching methods. They may have different ways that they see things and they approach situations and stuff like that. Compared to when you're in a household with both your mother and your father, you can get both things at the same time and kind of put them together to find out what works best for you.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the greater impact is like not a father not being involved in your life at all. I think the fatherless homes is when you look at the statistics that it correlates with a lot of crime or correlates with a lot of like dropouts, crime, not finishing school, jail, all those things where a lot of Black men end up. It comes from the father not being in their lives. I don't know if it's a distinctions between uh just being separated, like the mom and dad not being
Like
together,
co-parenting.
co-parenting, or is it literally just not having your father in your life, or I think it's probably I will lean towards the latter, just not having your father in your life. And it is a big issue. It's a correlation to it. It's a correlation to what I said, all the crime, and just and putting the pressure on the mom or the father. Usually single motherhood is what we talk about in the Black community, but I think it's more of it's actually, if you look at it across the board, it's actually happening more so in white families as well, right? It's not it's a black issue for sure, but for some reason it's becoming an issue across the board.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been affecting our community the most. And when you just look at it, it's a direct correlation. You just see, how do we figure that out? What transpired, all the things, all the government issued things, all the laws passed that broke up the family home, the black family. And it's a trickle down thing, but we got to figure out a way for either to have teach up young men on what's the proper way to raise a family, to have a family, raise a family, to what family means, how to provide. And we got to figure out a way. I don't know how you make, what's in the psyche of a man to have a child and not want to be a part of their life. You know what I mean? I don't know. I was happy enough to have a father that was a part of my life. I have kids, I'm a part of their life. So I don't know what brings somebody to the point where you have kids running around, you're not a part of their life. I don't know what that is, but we got to figure that out. Why is that so prevalent in the black community? And we got to tackle from there.
Yeah, I think, I agree, right? Like you see it, primarily we're talking about father not being around. And I guess I would to look this up, but I'm curious to see the stats on how girls grow up while having their father versus boys growing up not having their father, because it probably is a greater impact on the boy. But I don't know that. I'd look that up, because when we talk stories, right? Your dad talked about the handwriting. He talked about the red light district. You spent time with your dad. My dad was my basketball coach growing up. Males talked about his dad in a barbecue. Priest talked about his dad, how much he loved his dad, and we know how great he is. So just not having that and just show you what a man should be, right? We argued about gender roles earlier, but at the end of the day, I hate when I hear black women tell black men what a man is. Oh, well, you should do this to be a man. It's you can't tell me what I need to do to be a man. You've never been a man. So having a man or having a father in a child's life, especially a young boy's life, it kind of keeps them on straight and narrow, scared. A lot of times the mom got to work 2 or 3 jobs, the son doing whatever, the daughter doing whatever. Men, the boys, they get into gang life because they feel like they got to make money, especially if you're the oldest. So you definitely see correlation between the fatherless homes and the children growing up with whether it's crime, whatever case may be, right? Like you talked about. And I think that is a big issue. The psyche, I never even thought about the psyche of the people that just leave, right? That just go, my grandmother who just passed away. One day, my grandfather, or my dad's sperm donor, he when we went to the store, it never came back. And my gram just had to step up and take care of 8 kids. So what he was going through, I don't know. I kind of don't care. But so when I look at it, I think about incarceration. I think about murder. Why the father isn't around? But there's a lot of cowards that just up and leave. And I guess getting to figure out why, I think that would be a big step in helping it, right?
But there's also those females that make that choice to have a child by a person, and then they choose to not have that person a part of their life too. So
a lot of factors. Yep.
Yes. I think we're talking about 2 different issues. Because single parent households is not necessarily the same thing as fatherlessness. Those are
fatherlessness.
Exactly. Yeah, those are 2 different things.
Yeah, I don't think single parent household is not if your dad is still coming to all your football games and everything, I don't think that's an issue. It's when he's just not around.
Yeah, and vice versa, or if the woman is not around and then you have the male that's. So I mean, it is it's a myriad of a whole lot of things that can cause some issues with this.
Yeah.
But what we do know is from our own experience, we grew up in 2-parent households, and we know how beneficial that is. It's
not a coincidence that we all went to the same school. We all semi-successful.
Yes, we know how beneficial that is. That is not to say that all people who grew up in 2-family households turn out right. or turn out like that. That is not to say that. We're not saying that, nor is it to say that single parent households or people who may not have their father with you don't turn out good, right? So, because we see examples.
James.
Yeah, we see. I don't necessarily like when people point to him, but, because he was one of one
outlier.
Like, yeah. But nonetheless, we can name. There's other names like that, right? But I just think it's very nuanced, right? And I think it's case by case, because even people who are products of divorce, like that can turn into a whole nother issue, right? And that could be a single, family household, and then you know what I mean. Like, so it's a lot of factors that play into these things. I think that if we can focus on the children, right, in the situation, like making whatever transition they have to make that easier, trying to get them whatever help that they need, whether it be, traumatic help as far as maybe talking to somebody about the situation or whatever the situation. I think the focus should be on the children, and then you should try to work your way to the parents, right? I think that you should try to focus on like making this situation, okay for them, and then, you can move on. But I like we said before, like, we're just bringing these topics to the forefront. We're talking about them, and then hopefully, we can get somebody on that can lay some things out for us, right? Lay some things out for our audience. But
like you said last show, it takes a village. So
yeah, absolutely.
If the father not around, hopefully some uncles, somebody else that can step up.
Yeah, raising children is definitely not an easy thing, no matter if it's two or one. The item the black issue that I have, or that I wanted to bring to the forefront, was health. And actually, it kind of surprised me. I was looking up some things, and one of the biggest things that I seen was that generally people over 65 or older, African Americans, they're actually living longer now, right? So that is like they're actually living longer, but younger African Americans, that 19 to 40 range, they're living with multiple diseases now at early ages, diabetes, high blood pressure, and having strokes. And it was just like, it was very startling. It's like, wow, like the dynamic has changed. So whereas we used to talk about we're not living long enough, but now we are living long enough. But yeah, the younger is dying, not necessarily from like gun violence. Well, I mean, they are dying from gun violence, but they are also dying from like health issues, like legit health issues. And one thing, I just wanted to bring up something real quickly, and we can, whatever you have to say. But as far as young African American men, I think we have to try to force our way to go to the doctor, force our way to get checked up, because so oftentimes we say, there's nothing wrong with me, or
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
All
straight.
the time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, your stomach been hurting for a year, but yet nothing is wrong with you. Like,
how about having health insurance? Go.
Yeah, absolutely. Having health insurance.
That's the key.
Yeah. So you
got to get that, and going is obviously key, but having health insurance to go is a lot of a deterrent for a lot of people as well.
Absolutely. So
I know. Okay, I preach.
No, I'm done.
I would say I know. Like, it's funny, we talked about Thanksgiving, right? And like earlier, and to me, like how bad do you guys think Black people diets are? Maybe like the older Black people, right? Because like like we hear all the time, like Black people kind of eat like soul food started in slavery, because we was getting old pig intestines, we was getting old collard greens, and we had to dress them up so that they were edible. Mm-hmm. But that's when you see a lot of the high blood pressure, diabetes, because we put so much, like we make fun of white people all the time because they don't put seasoning in their food, but we go OD with the salt
and sugar.
So like, do you think it need to be a push, not an anti soul food push, but like a real healthy soul food? Like, come on, like the mac and cheese don't need 7 cheeses in there, auntie. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes and
or no?
No, not for those big events, in my opinion. I think
the big events is fine.
For Thanksgiving, but I mean that's Sunday dinner. No soul food. Sunday dinner.
Not for y'all, because y'all. Never mind. But anyways, as far I think as far as diets, I think diets are actually the reason why our older African Americans are living longer, because we're very conscious of those things. Like, I hear that more so with my older aunt, my aunts and my uncles, and you know what I mean, like my parents. It's like My mother's very conscious of what they eat now, as opposed to when we were younger.
But most of them get guides though. They get people that tell them, hey, you need to eat this because they go to the doctor.
No, but that's what and let me be clear. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, over time, we start going to the doctor, right? Like that's just over time.
But if you want to start eating healthy when you already got diabetes, right? I know it's too late, but like, no, it should have been before.
It is too late. But what I'm saying, as far as diets, like I think for me, Mike, I don't know about y'all, whether people do it or not, but I think with the advent of social media and things like I see so many diet things online and so many people doing this diet and so many people drinking water with kiwi and all this I see
lemongrass, and cherries.
People are trying to educate themselves on that. So I think that, like, as far as the diet is concerned, obviously it's still an issue with people in less fortunate communities. Like they call them food deserts, right? That's one of the things. Like, so I mean, it's like when you go out, you know, in our neighborhoods, all you see is, you know, liquor stores, Family Dollars, and
it's a wealth issue as well.
Corner stores.
McDonald's.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's
like
a wealth issue.
when you say,
Can you afford
healthy?
Can you afford to be healthy? Some people can't afford.
Actually, that's not true. That's not true.
No.
You can. They actually debunked that. They did plenty of studies where if you go, those foods that you buy at the corner store and those things of that nature, they're actually the prices are comparable. So that's not an excuse.
No, we're not talking about going.
They are. They did multiple studies on it.
Listen. We're not talking about.
Can you get to those stores?
Yes, we talk about. Can you like? Is you gonna go to Whole Foods or you gonna go to your corner store? Because, right, like, do some things say food stamps and EBT? Do some things don't? Like, we talk about, can you afford to do this stuff?
Well, you can afford it. You can afford it, but there is a barrier. Maybe
that's
a
what I'm saying.
barrier.
Whatever. All that encompasses.
Hold on. I gotta see the study.
I don't know if that's true
because I see McDonald's giving away 7 Big Macs and 5 large fries for $4. Like I have, like, smoothie spots and different spots. You go there, smoothies are $10. Like, I don't know who debunked this or what. What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying is, Mike. So
when you say they debunked, what did they debunk?
What I'm saying is, if the issue is this, it may be a literacy issue as well. Because if you go to a particular store and you plan and you have a budget to say, if you only had, say, $10 to eat that week for even 4
buying
people,
groceries,
yes, and cooking, why women should do that, and buying. I'm just being honest. I'm just saying, like, if you buy these things and you prepare meals, like, to say that you can do it, you can eat healthy.
Yeah, it's very possible.
I think
it's very possible.
I want to be clear on that.
Is it gonna stretch?
Yes, it will stretch.
Yeah, no. Well, let's pause, because
buy 2 cans of food, you can stretch the whole year.
Our privilege is showing.
No, it's not.
Because we just talked about all these fatherless homes, right? So if you got a lot of single mothers who live Section 8, they aren't going to Whole Foods to go shopping.
But a
lot of people
go to Tops.
Especially.
Stop selling your food stamps.
I seen plenty of mothers of Pt1.
Yeah,
I seen plenty of mothers that may work 2 jobs, get home at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. They're not cooking, bro. They coming home with food.
I understand.
They come home with Little Caesars, hot and ready.
So
I think that's the issue. I think the whole debunking about what's cheaper, it's not even about the cost. Sometimes it's about convenience.
It's about. I think it's about both. It's about. Maybe there's people don't know.
People
don't know.
I don't know.
It is
not
cause.
Who Sam say debunk is.
No, what I'm saying is,
I need to.
First of all, it's not nonsense. It's just common sense. You can eat healthy.
No, it's not.
Yes, Mike, hear me what I'm saying. Do you realize that a can of peas is 49 cents? That is considered healthy, right? So if I buy a can of peas for 49 cents, that's serving of 2 to 3 people, okay? All right? Is everybody okay with that, right? Is everybody okay with asking?
Finish.
All right?
Finish.
So if I buy a can of peas, all right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
I got the can of peas.
Yep, you got a can of peas.
And then all you got to do is you can get some chicken, right? You can get some chicken. I can get you chicken for about 79 cents a pound. Come high.
I can get you chicken. So people, you the chicken man.
No,
Sam, shut up.
I'm joking. That was
you
joking.
just wildin'.
But you can't. What I'm saying is, I'm being honest. There are a lot of tools out there that you can go to certain stores and you can diet on a
Yeah.
budget.
Okay.
Like it's out there.
Yes. If you talk about if you're making your own food, yes.
Yes.
But we got off that, and because you start talking about the McDonald's and going out to eat. For one, the hood don't got like a lot of green spots.
I agree. That's what I said. A transportation barrier.
It's not about McDonald's and Burger King, Wendy's. Like you're not going anywhere to get this food. So whether it's made, especially like I said, even if you do go to a fast food spot that's green, it's gonna cost you $20 out the door for 2 people. I know because me and Angie go. McDonald's, I could get 7 Big Macs, like I just said right now.
4 for 4 from Wendy's. 4 for 4.
Yeah, like so that's the issue I have, right? If you talk about just buying peas from the store and not putting so much salt in them, I agree. That's the price. But a lot of times people don't have the time. Yeah, they don't cook. They don't have the time.
Another thing is about eating healthy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But when you eat healthy, sometimes it's not about what you eat; it's about how much you eat as well, too.
I agree.
And
calories,
a lot of people don't really eat until they're satisfied. They eat until they're full, and that's a big problem that we have. Because if you eat until you're satisfied, that's when you be starting to eat them small little portions, and it kind of turns it turns over to be somewhat healthy compared to, being really unhealthy when you're eating just to eat. You know what I mean? Because your eyes see it, you want to keep consuming it.
Yeah, that's an American.
Your dog hungry right now, Mills. Yeah. You over there potting.
But yeah, that's a Western culture issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're just gluttonous, we're overweight, we're obese kids, child obesity.
How many times have we seen poor kids fat?
A lot.
Okay,
a lot. Well, it's because they eating the
junk.
Big Macs.
Yeah, they eating junk.
And a lot of it.
Yeah. So, Mills. I want to see your Thanksgiving plate this year then, because you always talk about eating till you satisfied. You better have a little.
He's not saying
I want to hear Sam, because Sam gonna have one of his peas.
No, I'm not.
79-cent chicken.
I don't eat like that. I didn't say I eat it like that. I said you can eat like that. I was just trying to make the comparison that you can't. They did studies. You can eat healthy.
That's the issue with the studies. It's not in practice. Yes, we can. I can go to the store, but with a lot of people that we are talking about,
I agree.
It's not. Okay.
No,
so
I said no.
I don't care.
You're not disagreeing with me. I said no. Brad said financially. I'm saying they said financially. So when people use financial, like obviously if you don't have any money, then you don't have any money. But it like on like they had like $20,000, $25,000 budgets and things of that nature. What people spend on food from that type of budget in those type of situations. They did studies and they said it is possible to eat healthy. It is not. It's not necessarily practical because there are a lot of barriers still. But a financial one may not like that. Like that is something you can kind of figure out. That's all I'm saying. It is possible.
All right. Moving on to the thing I want to bring to the front. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be just gun violence. Gun violence in the Black community is very, very, very. It's at whatever scale, whatever graph you're looking at. Is at an all-time high. It's just off the radar. It's blinking red. It's something that we need to figure out. I said last show, for Black men in the mid to late 20s, early 30s, the number one cause of death is homicide. So we all in that range. We all 28. Most of our friends is in that range, 28 to 30 years old, and the number one cause of death for them is homicide, and that's and people not saying that. I don't think that's a common thing that everybody know, and we need to figure that out. And gun violence is, we got like somebody from our city, right? Benny the Butcher from Griselda, who just got shot. Hope he's all well. They're saying he's doing good, stable condition, but he just got shot in Houston. Over some attempted robbery, and we got friends. Mike got Duke on his shirt right now. Rest in peace, Duke. You know what I mean? Gun violence. So, and it's just a big issue that we need to tackle, need to figure out. And I think more attention needs to be put to it. You know, what's happening in Chicago is, you know, Chirac and all these stuff that we talk about.
I hate that.
And it's just like, it's glorifying whatever it is, you know, and when Buffalo, you know how it go. We in Buffalo, somebody, you know, we one of those cities that's is a high crime, you know what I mean? And these inner cities, high gun violence, and we just need to put, I think, just the amount of attention that the Black Lives Matter put on police brutality needs to be a certain movement, or it can be a different branch, or somebody just as prevalent as putting this gun violence in our communities, because we need to fix it. You need to hurry up and fix it. And I don't think no president gonna fix it. So I think it got to start with personal. It got to start with personal agency. It got to be something we do for our people. And it got to start with one kid at a time. You're making sure, and maybe it ties on all the stuff we had. Maybe it ties into fatherless homes. You know, I'm sure it does. You know what I mean? Crime, going out there, figuring out how I'm gonna protect mine, and figure out, you know, fighting over scraps, fighting over the little stuff, the little territory I think y'all got, and going to the game because you're trying to find that purpose in life, and you thinking like, well, these group of people over here look like they got something going on, and that's the only thing I can identify with, and you go in there. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that people go to gangs or go get a gun and use it for, you know, we just need to figure it out, because we're using it on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I know Mike don't like the word black on black crime, and I understand why, but the thing black on black crime, but it is something in the homicides of us killing each other, especially around our age group. You know, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, but we need to figure that out immediately.
Normally. So I would say somebody can go after I say this. It's gonna be quick. Rather, the difference, I'm sure you know this, but I'm just gonna say the difference between the Black Lives Matter movement and, you know, the gang violence is that, you know, the police brutality, I'm sure we're gonna talk about that next show. That can happen to any of us, right? Whereas gang violence is seen to be like, if I'm not in that, then I'm good. Obviously, innocent bystanders get shot all the time. Like, no,
all the time.
Devontae got caught up in a drive-by one day. So I would say, like, but people be like, okay, gang violence is the gang bangers killing each other. So I'm gonna stay out of here. Y'all do y'all. But with the police thing, like, you know, anybody, I could get pulled over right now and they see a bandana and dreads and think I'm Tookie. So I think that's the reason why Black Lives Matter get so much of a push. And like, we kind of got like not rocked to sleep, but kind of became okay with the gang violence. And like you said, we can't ever be okay with it. We can't ever be okay with it.
I agree. I don't really have much to say. I think it's self-explanatory.
I agree. So yeah, I'm interested in getting somebody on that study this, can explain to us all the reasons, what they are doing, and seeing how we can help. You know, like, you know, talking with the youth and everything. But, you know, we only 4 people. There's only so much we can do. But I mean, one person is changes everything. For me, I ain't gonna say what it is. It's gonna be a cliffhanger, so you have to come back, tune in next week. But I'm gonna say I'm showing some love to my Black queens out there. Make sure y'all tune in next show. I'm like I said, we talk about Black men on the show because earlier I said I don't like when Black women tell Black men how to be men. Like, I don't like how we're preachers telling women how to be women. But that's why we do keep to sports, the stuff that we know, because we talk about Black men. No, I don't. You can't.
Why can't I tell a Black woman how to be a woman? Like, I don't understand that. Why? Why can't I tell a Black woman how to be my woman?
No, you do whatever you want.
Right,
but
make sure.
So I was saying, but for me, like I said, I don't tell Black women how to be Black women.
Why?
Don't tell me how to be a Black man. Well, I'm saying, because don't tell me how to be a Black man. Then. If I'm okay with them telling me that, then I could tell them, you know, you see what's on the two-way street. But I'm saying what I don't like. Priest, that's all. What you do is what you do. I'm saying I don't. So, but mostly we don't really talk about Black women on the show. We talk about we talk about issues, right? Well, yeah. But
name of the pod, to each his own.
Oh, wow. So but next week I'm coming. I'm gonna show my Black queen some love. So make sure everybody tap in.